There's a stupid, simple, proven strategy that people are using to make millions of dollars even in 2025, and they're way dumber than you. I didn't graduate high school and it's working for me. It's called wholetailing. It's not wholesaling, which you've probably heard of, but wholetailing. I'm gonna walk you through what it is, how to do it, as well as the risks. Let's help you get paid. Wholetailing is about the easiest way that you can make money in real estate when it comes to a simplicity standpoint. You find a good deal, you buy it, you clean it up a little bit, turn around and list it on the market for more money. Now it's wholetailing, T-A-I-L, like an animal's tail, not wholetailing, like a story, T-A-L-E. That always trips me up. Wholesaling, which you've probably heard of, is basically where you pretend you can buy the house, get a good deal, and then hope you can find somebody that can actually buy the house and profit off of that middle price between what you got it under contract for versus what you can sell it for. Wholesaling removes all the verbal gymnastics. Plus, I think it's way better for the sellers that we're dealing with. We literally just say, hey, here's what I can pay. They say yes, we buy the darn thing, we clean it out, we list it, and we sell it to somebody else for more money. This is very similar to like the list as it sits option that we give sellers inside of SoldFast, our real estate franchise, where we basically walk a seller through if they take their property to market, they don't want to fix anything, what we think it sells for. It's the same thing that we're doing. It's just after we've bought it, we're taking it to market with minimal repairs. Let's talk real quick, just pros and cons between like doing a wholetail versus doing a full flip. I think one of the biggest pros is the cash conversion cycle, meaning the time I put money out to get money back is a much smaller window. I might only own a place for a couple weeks or even a couple days if a cash buyer wants it. It's also possible that you actually net more money than if you do the full remodel. In SoldFast, our algorithm walks us through if we pay cash and do a remodel, what we net, versus if we just pay cash, clean it out, and list it, what we net. And oftentimes our return on investment is higher, not even taking into account the hassle involved with managing a flip. I personally really like to throw new lenders on wholetails with me so they can kind of see the whole process, but in a condensed time frame. I've maybe got their money out for like 60, 90 days worst case scenario versus a year or more on a full remodel. It's a really good way to kind of like date before we get married on a bigger project. In a second here, I'm going to cover the deal killers. These are things you absolutely want to make sure don't become your problem after you've already bought the place. Now, when it comes to cons, this is more risky than wholesaling because we're actually putting our money where our mouth is. There is the risk of what if we blow our numbers and the property doesn't sell to another buyer? Well, the answer there is pretty simple. We just do the remodel and it becomes a flip at that point. Another big con is it's very clearly a vacant, empty place that's on market. That could be interesting to squatters or folks that want your copper. It's also, you're not flying under the radar. You are on the radar. County knows this is potentially a project. So if you're trying to skirt permits or something, probably not going to happen. This isn't super sexy in the land of like make money online with no risk that is YouTube and gurus and coaches, but you are actually tying up capital here. It could be your own cash. It could be private money like that you've borrowed from friends and family. It could maybe be like a home equity line of credit against your house. You might have like a IRA that you roll over to self-directed, or it could be something like hard money, but there is actual dollars at risk here. I think probably the biggest pro when it comes to wholetailing is that you're not actually doing the construction. So you're not managing budgets or overages or contractors or poor quality of work. It's significantly easier, in my opinion, than flipping houses. There are some like deal killers that you want to be really aware of prior to buying a house. Oftentimes when we're making offers on these places, it's like cash as is quick close. That doesn't mean you can't have on there an inspection. So we'll often put on there that we want to check out some major systems. So for instance, you would want to look at like the sewer line. If you have a property with a failed sewer line, you're going to have problems, or a septic system that's shot, or a well that's going out. Any of those like really big ticket things can make it harder to move these kinds of projects. One thing that we'll often do with sellers is we'll give them the cash price and then we'll give them the price with inspection. So, hey, if you don't want me to even look at anything, I'm here, and that might be 8 to 10K lower. if I can do an inspection and just make sure that these items are fine, then I'm here and we've got a done deal. When it comes to these wholetails, there's really like 3 asset classes, or basically like levels to properties for like my video game folks. The first one, which is what everybody wants, are the places that are dang near retail. Like borderline doesn't even make sense why they were willing to sell you this house at that price point. You're typically doing nothing to these houses. We had one we bought in Noblesville, Indiana. It was on some acreage. We literally refilled a propane tank for something like a couple $100 and had the house deep cleaned. On that project, we netted $79K. There was no remodel or even like demo or clean out. It was literally just fill the propane, take pictures, throw it to market. Now, I'm an investor and I care about the money, and maybe I'm a cynic. So if I'm like you, I'm like, well, why would somebody sell you their house for less than what it's worth? That particular instance, they were building a new house, needed this house to close in order to qualify for that debt, and they were up against a timeline. We were super blunt with them. Like, this makes no sense, and I've got to be super conservative because I don't know what this house sells for. And then we were pleasantly surprised about what it went for. The second level of wholesale, which is going to be like more common, are like your remodels. So it's a property that needs work. It probably needs carpet, paint, maybe a roof. You might even need to look at doing like a kitchen or bathroom. But this is kind of that like middle tier that are still totally worth looking at, where it's still financeable. Financeable meaning like roof's good, foundation's good, overall structure's good. If a family wants to move in and do the work themselves, the bank is going to be okay giving them a loan on it. Other than like the retail ones you don't have to do anything to, these are probably the easiest ones to move. And it's kind of like somebody can come in, can kind of see the finished product. They can get bank debt for it. They tend to be kind of a win-win for everybody involved. The third type of wholesale that I want you to be super careful with if you've not done a lot of these or don't want to do a big remodel are like the gut job ones. So if you get one that needs everything, like foundation shot, sewer lines shot, electric shot, needs new kitchen, new bathroom, new windows, new roof, new HVAC. Just realize there's a really small pool of people that have the money and likely the interest in taking on a project that size. And they're going to want to make a hefty amount of money for all that time, effort, and risk that they're putting in. I like to think about these different like asset classes as like a pool that just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. The retail is like, yeah, anybody would take that deal. People are probably going to bid it up for you if you price it appropriately. The like rehab ones, you know, the family that's willing to do sweat equity, still interested, investors are still interested in it, still a pretty decent sized pool that you're playing with. You start to get into those gut job ones though, and there's very few people that want a project of that size. Even more so if any of those like deal killers are present. You have a very small percentage of the population that wants to take that project on. If we haven't met in person yet, my name's Ryan Dossey, and I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars using this strategy as a high school dropout that didn't come from a construction background. Didn't go to college, no GED. I've just bull in a china shop my way through it, and this strategy has worked very, very well for me over the years. I'm going to link to a deep dive that we did on one of these. I realized this is the primary exit strategy I'm using, and I haven't really talked to you guys about it. Literally have another one of these closing on the sale side in like 2 weeks. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. That helps YouTube tell us folks like you are interested in this and grows the channel, so we keep doing it. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me. Again, my name is Ryan. Talk to you guys next time.